We've started pressure washing the paths now. The paths are looking much neater when they're clean and tidy. The benches that we use for alpines and bulbs are just pressure washed. Lisa's been at this all week. There are literally weeks of pressure washing and cleaning. And then we have some crocus, iris reticulatus, more iris reticulatus. Just various bits and pieces from up in the bulbs that I think a couple of weeks back Elizabeth was showing you. The nursery is starting to take shape now in preparation for the summer, well, the spring and summer. Thomas has been working on shrubs. These are syringas, lilacs. We have everything alphabetical. It's always been one of my favourite sayings. It's getting boring saying it now, but everything here is alphabetical, but not in order. It's just impossible to have it truly alphabetically ordered because stuff becomes available at various times and there's often not room. This is a lovely Viburnum, one of the Boddentenses, the winter flowering Viburnums. Beautiful little flowers on it. These are just young plants. Now we can go up through the shrub beds and I'd love to see it looking clean and tidy. It's important that we start off with good intentions. It gets very hard as the season progresses and the jobs become massive. You know, there's so much watering and weeding and constant sweeping, and then you've got to deal with customers, which we cannot do without. I know I make jokes about customers. I'm just not a people person, but it starts off good. Sometimes gardens are like that. You know, we look at them in April or May and we think, oh, this garden's fantastic this year. And by about, I don't know, middle of July, early August, the arse has fallen out of the job. And then we think, oh, what's a garden for? It's just to have barbecues and enjoy the life. Or it's for the wildlife. I'm not weeding that, I'm leaving it for the birds. I think wildlife gardens are a very justifiable use for having an unkempt garden. We just shouldn't kid ourselves sometimes. I take you on these little wanders round because it's important to see how the nursery changes as the year progresses, and this is the beginning of February. We'll do one of these little wanders at the beginning of March as well. I'll probably forget, but that's my intention. As I said, I'm full of good intentions. We're going to... This is a bed we use with misshaped stock or stock that we no longer want. We stick a blue ribbon around it and it goes at half price. The decision has been made on the Christmas trees. We're keeping them for one more year and they're going to be potting them up into larger pots. Probably Clara and Thomas. At some stage we have to sort out these large cedars. The problem we have now is that I have to put them into 160 litre pots, and frankly I actually can't move them then. They're in 90 litre pots now, and the wind is catching them, so I'm either going to plant them out, sell them to a Dutchman, or put them out at half price and let our ordinary customers have the chance. Some of them, like the Cistus glauca pendulas, it's an exquisite plant, and in a garden centre you pay £600-700 for one of these at this size. Some of these are 10-12 feet. Even if we're not immediately filling up a bed, they're cleaned and prepared. It's important that beds are cleaned and prepared. The wall we house hundreds of plants, thousands of plants along this wall, and they all have to be lifted out soon and the underneath cleaned, because they're full of leaves and crap. Maiden trees are finished. Now we grow these on for a year, maybe more. Some are cut back for training into fans or stepovers or various things. I do so many a year. This tree is a Cicidophyllum, a Katsura, but the weeping one. You've seen it before probably, but it doesn't really matter in this year. We'll redo things and go over them again. And bulbs, you can see they're all coming into leaf. They're waking up now, even though it's only February, but they are still waking. What a fucking noise.
I thought you'd be used to your voice by now.
More shrubs, Thomas.
More shrubs.
These are starting to break now. What is it? A spirea?
Spirea. Firelight.
Firelight. That's the one that has the nice coloured foliage early on.
Yeah.
Fucking gets mildew then, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know what that song was. Well, I don't know if it was a song or not.
Hello.
Good morning. You're doing what?
I'm moving all the climbers, like clematis, hydrangeas, well actually only a few hydrangeas here, all onto this bed neatly and tying them in so they don't blow over with the strong winds we get here sometimes.
Right. I'll come back and have a look later on.
And also keeping them in their varieties.
Yeah.
So, which they already are just behind there. I'm just laying them out.
They were potted on earlier, I think. Sometimes here, being in the really high areas of northern England, we have to give stuff some protection. So any little area or space we have, like between these two polytunnels, we'll use that for things like these clematis Loniceras, some of the evergreen Loniceras. Now, it's quite an interesting thing. Some evergreen plants, they really would be better off not being evergreen, and would be better off just losing their leaves because they look bloody scruffy. But we put stuff behind here because it's quite useful. Well, that's a little look around the nursery. Early February. Oh, I suppose we haven't done the tunnels. What have we got in tunnels here? Hebes, various things. Most of it's winter protection. And these things, no, they're not dead, I promise you. These are lemon verbenas, aloysia. It used to have another name, but I can't remember what it is now. But whatever, they'll come into leaf, and they are beautifully scented. I think posh cooks use lemon verbena. This is a ribes, a rarer one called speciosa, and that'll be covered in flower. I quite like that. Some young viburnums, various bits and pieces. Some of the conifers that are prone to waterlogging. Of course, when you're growing stuff in containers, it's not always the cold you need to protect it from. It doesn't have the sort of capillary action of being out in the soil where the soil pulls the water away. If they get waterlogged, it just sits in the pot, and I think that kills more plants than actual frost or dying out. So waterlogging is something we have to be very, very aware of. Watering is very hard. I will always keep on about that. It's a job that needs a degree of common sense. This is a Daphne. I know they look a bit straggly, but it's the most wonderful thing, and the scent is exquisite. It's a blower, and it's called Jacqueline Postil. I'm trying to have a sniff of it. I don't know why. Oh dear God. Oh, beautiful. There's another Daphne there. Beautiful plants, Daphnes. So we're going down this tunnel, and you come along here and you see Cistus Maples. They look shit this time of the year, but nothing you can do about that. Some of them are holding their leaves more than they used to. Hoherias, not a plant you see often. Autumn sown sweet peas. There you are. They're lovely. Nice strong plants. You don't need to pinch them out when they're autumn sown. You can see the breaks are coming away from the bottom. They will get planted out. These are all very special ones, gold medal winners. And I like sweet peas. Ever since my old head gardener told me that a bunch of sweet peas, you give them to your girlfriend and her knickers fall off. Well, I can assure you they don't, but we might give it another trial later in the year, see what happens. These are lavenders. These are last year's small ones. And then there are some cuttings that we took from different coloured ones, pink ones and various bits and pieces. There's a few hundred lavenders there. They're growing away quite nicely. They're just sitting here, but they want to go out soon. Then it starts getting too warm, the buggers stew. Here, this is an easy video, this. Just wandering about, waffling on. This is another bench we use for pots and alpines. Down here, it's just a little border. You can see lots of unusual bulbs, fancy species daffodils and things, and some pocentillas and hydrangeas. There's some paniculatas in there as well. it's good to have a wander around, and I try and do it every week, the first thing, but not a lot changes. But every month, for the sake of these films, it's probably worth just to wander around the video with. God, you daft twat! Wander around the nursery with me and see what's what. Delphinium crown buds. These were last year's crown buds, so I think I filmed doing them, and they're all coming away nicely now. You see here. Everything, another 3-4 weeks, everything will really start moving, and we really won't have time at all to do much other than pot up and get on and crack on. And then the grass is going to need cutting, so John will be on that little cottager garden, and they've been putting vegetables in this. It's all preparation in the winter. The preparation is for the coming season, and the season is so condensed. April, May and June, you know, you can't scratch your nuts for it. You don't find time to do anything. It's just manic. You could work 12, 14 hours, 7 days a week. But it's a bit like farming, you know, you have to make hay when the sun's shining, and whereas when people are waking up and fancying getting out in the garden. The interesting thing is, and it is quite interesting, I'm not just saying that, the interesting thing is when there's a recession or something, some sort of hardship, and people haven't got as much disposable income, they tend to spend more money on their garden. They think, well, we'll stay at home this year and have a holiday at home and do the garden. So yeah, so it's one of those strange little quirks. Where else haven't we been? I must get that roof fixed. Yeah, looks horrible. Well, we've been up the perennial beds. That's the wall, the lower wall, the little wall, and we put stuff on there in the summer, but at the moment it's just housing stuff that wants to be repotted or pruned back. Wherever you look, down there, there's just more stuff waiting to be processed. Grasses, all sorts of bits and pieces. Up here, the primulas, we did those last week. I think we filmed you filmed them being cut back, the primroses. You see how they start to flower, and they sit proud of the leaves. There's other nooks and crannies we could go around, but I can't remember now what we've been around and what we ain't. There. And this is where I put the irrigation in a week or two back. That's starting to be filled up. It's an ongoing process, and it never stops. In the gardens themselves, well, that's another job. These beds will all get sorted out soon. Well, they won't. We will make an attempt at it. John will try his best. They're looking a bit neater with the old compost put on the top. That covers up a multitude of sins. But there's nothing much going on. You just think to yourself, oh, it's waiting to explode into a thing of colour. These hellebores are starting to move now, and these are really dark red ones. They're quite nice. The other reason I have to check round is I have to check round occasionally the fences. We do as much rabbit proofing as we can, but we also can have a problem with deer, which is why this little fence has an extension on to stop fucking Bambi jumping over the top of it. I came here the other night and pulled the car up outside when there was about 12 rabbits in here. The nursery is surrounded by them. There are literally thousands and thousands in the fields that surround us. I used to try and keep a little barrier around the nursery, you know, like 100 yards all round, clear of any sort of bunny I could see. I'd shoot them. But these days I really don't like killing things. Snowdrops, straightforward Galanthus nivalis. Some of the snowdrops these days are bloody expensive. You know, it's become sort of a collector's thing. You can pay £20-30 for a single bulb, or well, upwards from there, and you get into the hundreds. You can't always see them. The trouble with them is you've got to sort of lie on your belly and look at them they don't do it for me. But this beautiful little straightforward nivalis I just think is just beautiful. Seeds itself around, grows everywhere. And I stripped out a lot of the darkness, the wood, the trees in the churchyard this autumn. So I'm quite looking forward to next year when they've had a season with plenty of light, because it's the light that will help them spread. That old church, you know, that's over 400 years old. 1868, they chained this churchyard up. Chained it up, and it was never entered again. They built a new church up in the village, and my old partner decided he was going to make a feature of it, and he started it in the late 90s, and we opened it around about, well, for the millennium 2000. We had a little band in here, and people came and had a glass of wine and all the rest of it. Some old vicar came and spoke about it. Never saw him before that, but it took several years of really hard work, because he had to find the gravestones and things. Yeah, it's nice. It's peaceful in here. And it's spooky. Over the years I used to look after his house when he went off to Italy. And I used to come down here at night and sit in the church for about an hour in the hope of seeing a ghost or something spooky, but I never saw nothing. I did it loads of times. Nothing. Sitting there, misty, dark, foggy. Bugger all. I can't be sensitive enough, I suppose. Don't know what it is. Here we come through the glass houses. There's bits in here that we fiddle with, we propagate with. These bits of Daphnes. That's some of the rarer lupin seed, we need to sort those out. Young maples. Young grafted hollies and conifers. They need moving up and growing on for 2 or 3 years. I think it's good for you if you're going to watch these videos regularly to have this sort of tour. These are standard, little half standard hollies. They're about 12-14 years since I started them. They're alright. Nothing's short term. In here we have Camellias. We've grown these up over a number of years, but we have some younger ones as well. These are looking quite nice now. Starting to get flower buds on. But the wind hustles through this shade house and blows the blooming things over, so you're forever standing them up. This was last week. That's some of the alpines that didn't get done, and the ones that did. We have coming in very many thousands of plants. Stuff we've run out of. Now when we've run out of it, it's we have to get it from other suppliers, and then there is the stuff I keep on about that's got plant breeders' rights that we have to grow on from young plugs, and so much more stuff now has got that. This is another glass house. This was bought from GlaxoSmithKline. I don't know what they used it for, but many years ago. So we just called it Glaxo. It's quite a big glass house, but there's various things in here that, like Verbena bonariensis, who were overwintering. These are Euphorbia robiae. She was an eccentric old woman that bought a Euphorbia back from Egypt in her hat box, I think. One of those British characters. But she was a right bitch in reality. I shouldn't say that, no. But you know what the upper classes of England were like in them days. They didn't like the oiks. But in our country now, the oiks are getting a laugh I think. If we've got any oiks. They're all voting Conservative now. Now. And then there's some more stuff in here. We've got some cardiacrinums. They're another thing that really don't like water logging. The eryngiums, very. Just, you can see this. There's like a start of life in them now. You can take off the dead leaves and then move them up. Niphofias, lupins, various bits and pieces. There is just so much work to do on the nursery, let alone the stuff that's coming in. And it is a constant battle. Non-stop now. That's it. I've got no more to say.